Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to another episode of the Chocolate Shake. Inshallah, today I'd like to speak about dress and modesty. Okay, one of the things that I think we need to concentrate on as Westerners, especially the females, but males too, is making sure that when we dress, that we dress nicely, that we dress what's appropriate in the moment, what's appropriate for the occasion, and always to be neat and clean. Now, it would seem that we would know this by the time we're about 6, 7 years old. You would think people would know that they should dress nicely right about the time they're 6 or 7 years old, after mom and dad or grandma and granddad has crafted us and shown us how it is that we should get up in the morning and groom ourselves, right? You start out by making sure you take care of all your hygiene. All right, brothers? All right, sisters? We take care of our hygiene. We brush our teeth. We bathe ourselves, right? We clean our skin. We make sure that we use anything that we need to do, use to lotion ourselves, right? Use emollients, okay? And then, of course, we worry about our dress, our attire, what it is that we will put on to cover ourselves as we go out into our daily lives. Like, what do you put on to present yourself to the world? What should that look like? What should that be? How should that be, right? So what I'll do firstly, as I always advise, when you want to know something, before you go anywhere, always consult God and the prophets. Always consult the Creator and the creation that He's given that divine light to. And these people are easy to find. We know them to be people like Prophet Muhammad, on him be peace. Jesus the Christ, on him be peace. Moses, on him be peace. The Buddha, on him be peace. And we can go right on down the line of all the other great figures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is God, highly glorified and high is He, how He's given us all of these people, Confucius, the Jains, Lao, and we can keep on going, of all the great spiritual masters Allah has sent us, outside of being prophets even. They could be great prophets that were sent, or they could be people who were sent outside of the great prophethood. But they are people of light. When you see them, when you hear them, when you hear their wisdom, there's no doubt these are people of light, right? Just like when you see and you hear the people of the dark side, of darkness, no doubt these are people of the dark side, right? So we can distinguish between the two. So always refer back to Allah and the messengers. Anytime you hear me speak, I will always refer you back to Allah and the messengers. Always refer you back to Allah and the great sages. Allah and the great divines, right? The people who have shown us through time and through the ages that they are the wise ones, okay? So today I'm going to take reference from the Quran, and I'll be reading from chapter 7, verse 26, if anybody want to look this up in the future. And this is what Allah Ta'ala, that is Allah Most High as He, has to say about clothes and how it is that we should dress. A'udhu billah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'll read it in English. O you children of Adam, we have bestowed raiment upon you to cover your shame, as well as to be adornment to you. But the raiment of Taqwa, that is righteousness, or the raiment of God consciousness, or the raiment that one would wear when they are in full awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the best. Such are the signs of Allah, that they may receive admonition. I'll read verse 27. O you children of Adam, let not Satan seduce you in the same manner as he got your parents out of the garden, stripping them of their raiment to expose their shame. For he and his tribe watch you from a position where you cannot see them. We made the evil ones friends only to those without faith. Sadaqallah, sadaqallahu al-azim. That is, surely Allah speaks the truth. Okay, so what is being said here? What are we to leave with these gems, these jewels that were just given to us from the Holy Quran Kareem? So, O children of Adam, we have bestowed raiment upon you to cover your shame, as well as to be an adornment to you. So that's simple. So Allah is telling us here, God is telling us here through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, that is through Prophet Muhammad, on him be peace. So this is the inspiration for those who are not familiar with Islamic lingo, right? Our language. This is Prophet Muhammad, on him be peace, receiving divine revelation, right? He's being revealed to by his Lord to say these things to us, the human family, so that we have a way of knowing how it is that we should be dressing and carrying ourselves with our raiment, with our attire, right? So the first lesson here given to us is that we're given this raiment as a way to cover our shame. And what's meant by that is to cover our nakedness, to put some clothes on so the things that should not be seen by the outer world is not seen by them. That we are to cover our bodies in a way that people who are not intimate with us don't have access to us. That's what this means when it says to cover our shame, right? So it's not saying that we should be ashamed of our bodies. This is not what the message is relaying. This is what some of the secular materialists would have people believe about us, that Muslim people or religious people, that we have some type of, shame about our bodies. We're ashamed of nudity and nakedness, when it's far from that. When you look at the believing people around the planet, we have the most children. So clearly, we're not the ones that are hung up on being ashamed of our bodies. If you go to Africa and Asia, where the human family is having the most children, in certain parts of Asia, that is, of course, not those parts of Asia that have been affected by Western secularism, materialism, and the Western philosophies. Of course, they are going down, right? Japan and Korea and countries like that, their birth rates are going down. I'm talking about places like Malaysia and the Philippines and other places in the Far East, where they've been affected by the religion, the deen of al-Islam, right? The religion of al-Islam, and they have not been infected by the bad diseases, right? Psychological, spiritual, and otherwise the diseases that are coming from the West. So these countries, as with Africa, the birth rates are continuing to move right on in a natural way. People are having children and they are having sex and doing all the things they need to do to be attracted to one another, to have good relationships with one another, to be able to hold families together and move forward the human race. So we're talking about people who have not been affected by Western modernity. So Allah tells us again in the Quran that we are to cover ourselves or put our clothes on to make sure that we're covering our shame. That means our private parts. That we're not to go out in public wearing clothes that would expose, if you're a woman, your breast or your vagina or your backside and the beautiful parts of your body, like your legs, your hips, thighs, etc. The things that make a woman beautiful. Those parts of the body that Allah Ta'ala makes put their media, right? They have more tissue, they have more body fat, etc. The things that accentuate the beauty of a woman, the things that men, the opposite sex, are going to reach for and go for when we look at a woman. The things that are considered beautiful by the opposite sex. Likewise, for men, we are to cover those parts of our bodies that would expose our nakedness, right? That is our crotch and our thighs, those parts of us that are considered sexy or that are considered beautiful and attractive to the opposite sex. The things that they will look at that would attract them, right? The things that nature itself would say that you should be attracted to when you're looking for a mate, when you're looking for a mate to select, to have children by, and to make sure that this person is going to protect you. I'm going from female to male now. How the women look at men. I want to be protected. So I want him to be strong legs, strong thighs, right? And I want to make sure that his private parts are also strong and that he is a healthy man that can give me children, strong, healthy children. So this makes sense. So Allah Ta'ala tells us in Quran Kareem that we should cover these parts. These are the parts that you don't just show willy-nilly to any Tom, Dick, or Jane in the streets. These are the parts of ourselves that we should cover with pride. So when we put our clothes on, you cover those parts because you are letting the world know that you care about decency, that you are alert about the parts of yourself that should not be shared with everybody, that you're not taking if you're a female, taking your breast and taking your hips and your thighs and your butt, your backside, and showing the whole world what you have, right? That I'll expose this to the whole world. Everybody can see what I got. It's not special for my family members. This is not special for my husband. This is not something that's special for my children or the people who are part of my family who know me intimately, who raised me up like my fathers and my uncles, right? But I can just take my body, something that Allah gave as a gift, and I'll take it to the streets and show everybody what I have. I'll flaunt it in the streets and throw it out in the streets. And so now I'm indecent and I have nothing special about myself except that I dangle my body as a piece of meat out to the wolves and then see where that takes me. Allah goes on to say, but the raiment of Taqwa, the raiment he has translated here in English, righteousness, which is a decent translation. I would translate it, the raiment of Taqwa being the Arabic word. The better word to use, or words to use, I believe would be God consciousness. The better raiment for the human being is to be conscious of God. Or the better raiment for the human being would be to be in awe, right? Have that loving awe of God. That's the best raiment. How that's going to produce what it is that God loves and what's good in the eyesight of God. Then the verse goes on to say, that is best. I agree. That is best. The raiment that has taqwa is best. The raiment that makes us God conscious is best. The raiment that puts the awe of Allah in my heart, that is the best clothes to put on. Such are among the signs of God, that they may receive admonition. So this is Allah telling the basic human being that this, what he just said in that verse, these are just amongst the signs of God, the ayah, lillah, right? These are the ayahs of God. Just signs. Things for us to contemplate over is what it's saying. Think about it. Take this verse and God is saying, think about it. Come to your own natural, intelligent conclusion on what it is that I just gave you on how it is that you should dress yourself. Next verse. O you children of Adam, let not Satan seduce you in the same manner as he got your parents out of the garden, stripping them of their raiment to expose their shame. Now let's stop there for a minute. So this is Allah Ta'ala telling us that, people got a plan out here for you. If you don't have your own plan, then there's a plan made for you out here by somebody else. That was taught to me, thank God, by a master barber that I came across many years ago. Good man as regards how it was that he would teach his clients and he would teach the young barbers that were under him, the apprentice barbers. Oh, he was a good man with that. Just good, wise sayings. And sometimes his sayings were not acceptable to me as a Muslim. But at the same time, I could still extract the hikmah, the wisdom out of what it was that he was trying to say. He told me that. He taught me that. He was the one who taught me this. He made this ayah, this verse from the Quran, real for me, the Sheikh. Because he told me, brother, one of the things I admire about you is that you have your own plan of life. You, at a young age, you became Muslim and you turned yourself over to something that you believe is greater than yourself. And you stick to it and you follow it. He said, see, that's good, because a lot of these young brothers out here, they're not doing that. They're still trying to figure things out. And they don't realize that the white man has already given them a program. See, the white man has given them a program. This is what Mr. Moulton, that was his name. That's what he taught me. So I was always proud of myself. It was like a pat on the back from Mr. Moulton to tell me that. So yes, if you don't have a plan, one will be given to you. This is what Allah is telling us here in the Quran. O children of Adam, let not Satan seduce you in the manner that he seduced your parents and got them out of the garden. See, this is Allah telling you, hey man, have your plan. Understand what's going on around you. Otherwise, you will be deceived. The verse goes on, stripping them of their raiment to expose their shame. He stripped them of their raiment. How would he do that? Let's take this story that we're given in the Quran Kareem, okay? And that's another thing. The Quran speaks in a language that's a language of mythology, and it speaks in a language that's mixed with history. It speaks with a language that's basically cosmological and cosmogonical, okay? So when you hear me speak, understand that I'm not talking about these stories that are given to us in the frame that they're giving us to, right? From the Quran, from the Bible, from the Torah, from the other scriptures. We're not taking these stories as literal stories. These stories are given to us as a way of explaining it's like baby language being taught to the human race so that we can understand concepts behind them. What's most important in these stories are the concepts behind them. So anybody that listens to me talk about these stories, don't get so tricked out if you're a materialist or you're secularist. Like, oh, here they go talking about these stories like this was some real ordeal of Adam and Eve, in the Garden of Eden. Don't get blown away by this. Stick to what it is that Allah is talking about here. All right. Understand that we understand mythology. Understand that we understand cosmology. Understand that we understand cosmogony. We understand these things. So when we talk about these stories, we're talking about the beautiful spiritual insights that we extract from them to better our lives. That's what we're talking about, brothers and sisters. So don't get so put off by this. Listen to the leftists and even some of the people on the right. People are losing their minds like they don't understand how it is that you're supposed to understand scripture. So going back to what we're talking about, don't get yourself deceived by Satan. The shayateen, this is the term that Allah uses in the Quran, right? He's really saying devils, right? When he says evil ones here, it's the devil, shayateen, right? So look, the Satans. So now, what is being said? Don't let the devils fool you about how it is you're supposed to present yourself to the world in your clothes. Wear your clothes with the mindset of Taqwa. Do not wear your clothes in the mindset of these devils. And don't let them trick you about what you're supposed to be out here wearing. So men, we're supposed to cover ourselves in a way where you're proud, where you lack any type of pride, you lack any type of conceit, where you lack any type of extravagance, but you're modestly covered. You're clean. Your stuff is clean. You smell good. All these are the things that are being spoken about in this dress. And with women, don't let yourselves be deceived by Satan. Don't get put out of your garden the way that your foreparents are put out of their garden because you were deceived by the devils. That women are clothed not because of what it is that they're reaching for Taqwa. It's not Taqwa that's dressing our women, right? It's not the Taqwa. They're being dressed by these devils who are telling them that this is what you should put on. Oh, this is what's coming out of Paris. This is what's coming out of the UK. This is what's coming out of New York. This is what's coming out of God knows where, right? Out of Asia. This is what the people are wearing, right? Put on clothes that reveal your breast and your chest area. Put on clothes that reveal all of your body, right? It's funny, in the Western world, men put on clothes, right, to be dressed up. We actually put on clothes, socks included. Sometimes you see the brothers in gloves, right? Scarves around the neck, especially this time of the year. We're in the middle of winter here. You scarves around the necks. They have the hats on, whole body covered on the men. And you'll see women walk right out of here where I live, and it's the middle of winter, neck exposed, chest exposed, some little old something over her arms, right, to get her to the car, right? Legs exposed, dresses above the knee, all the legs exposed, feet exposed, not even socks on their feet. In the middle of winter, this is how people are dressing, right? It's insane. And why are they dressing this way? Because the shayateen, the devils, told them that this is how they should look. This is how they should dress. So before this video get any longer, I'll cut it off and we'll do a part 2 about how it is that we should reach forward to make sure that when we dress, especially you women, because you guys are disgusting out here, and somebody got to tell you. That's where the white hairs come in, right? That's where the barbers come in. That's where the sheiks come in. We're here to tell you about yourself because somebody got to tell you because you've been deceived. So we'll do a part 2 so as not to make this video too long. But what we want to reach for is to make sure that our women understand that you've been duped. You've been fooled. So we have to bring ourselves back to how it is that we really should be trying to dress. So we'll cut this off at this 20-minute mark, 21 minutes now. And inshallah, we'll deal with it in a part 2. I love you. Pray all is well. Do me a favor. If you appreciated the video, like it. And if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. Y'all take care. Peace.